With navigation, front and rear-facing dash cameras, plus radar-based blind spot detection, the Aoocci BX sure seems to be feature-packed. The folks at Aoocci sent me their new BX navigation unit. It's a touchscreen that supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but also has front and rear dash cams, tire pressure monitoring, and blind spot detection systems using a radar. Let's check it out. Driving safety and enjoy funny. So I guess the idea is to help keep you safer while on the road while watching funny TikTok videos or something. I don't know. So in the box we have the screen itself. Go ahead and remove that from its little shipping holder. Go ahead and set that aside. And in the box we have a whole slew of additional cables and bits. This looks like some sort of, we got a power harness and another harness with a little adapter box in there. Go ahead and start unwrapping all this stuff a while. We have a GPS antenna, your rear-facing radar for the blind spot detection, quick release mount, looks like a controller that you can mount on the handlebars, dash camera number 1, dash camera number 2, mounting bracket, tire pressure sensors, a angle bracket, another little angle bracket with some screws and a little hex wrench that I'll keep with that for now. Different adapters depending on what size bar you're mounting the screen to. A 64 gig micro SD card. And what do we got? We got screen protector accessories. I'm not sure what's in there. We'll find out. We got some zip ties. Whoops. A Torx wrench. And a little mini Phillips screwdriver. Little cloth and another hex wrench. So, all right, so first I'm going to go ahead and install the micro SD card here. Goes into the bottom of the screen. There's a couple of little Phillips screws. A little rubber flap that covers the slot. The little cover plate does have countersunk holes for the little screws on one side, so don't do like me and put it on upside down and then the screws don't sit flush. And I'm going to get started by mounting the screen itself to the bike. So none of these adapters are quite right for where I want to install this on my navigation mount here. The smallest one is labeled as 16 millimeters, and this is a 12 millimeter bar. So we got a bit of, that's not going to work there for me. So I cut a little piece of rubber hose to slip over there. All right, so this still has a little bit of slop on there with the hose rotating around the mounting bar, but just to try this out, I think this will do just fine for now. Now the screen comes with this little mounting ball on the back of it that slips in here and you clamp it down. That gives you some room to pivot it and move it around. It's almost like a ram mount style ball. I kind of like that. So you can just mount it like that, or we can take this whole backing plate off of the screen, remove the metal ball from the bracket using the hex, grab the little disconnect device here. You just press the red button and that lets it slide apart like so. The half with the red button, take the little metal ball and then secure it with the longer of the two hex nuts, hex bolts, I should say. Take the other part of that disconnect plate and the bracket that goes on the back of the screen. They go together like so, and then take the shorter of those hex nuts, hex screws, and secure the brackets coming from the inside of the screen bracket. And now these two just slide and clamp together like that, so when the screen is mounted on the bike, if you want to take it off to deter somebody stealing it, it'll come apart just like that. All right, now I got to put the whole mounting bracket back onto the screen. Okay, now check that out. That's pretty cool. I like that feature. All right, next the big wire harness goes to the screen. Now normally I'm very particular about how I install and wire up aftermarket accessories on my bike. I like it all to look, nice and hidden. I would be taking the tank off and running all these wires right alongside the factory wire harnesses, but I'm going to do a temporary job here today just so that I can get this hooked up so that we can check it out, see all the things that it can do, and then I'll clean it up later. Everything hooks up and connects pretty easy. It's all color-coded, so that makes it even easier, which is good because they don't include an instruction manual with the unit, but they do have one online that you can download to look at. Right out the gate, I wish the wire that goes to the screen to the breakout harness was longer. I really didn't have a whole lot of good options on where to route that, and that breakout harness is going to take up a good bit of room. As I mentioned, wiring for this is just temporary, so we could check it out. So everything was just kind of zip tied along from front to back. And as far as picking up power, I needed battery power, switched power, and ground. So I took battery power from a battery tender harness that I have at the front that's hardwired directly to my battery, and I took switched power from one of the heated gear connectors that I have under the seat. The controller fit on my handlebar pretty much perfectly right in the middle there, but they do give you a little angle bracket if you want to use that to mount it to one of the control clamps or something. This little screen protector accessories bag that was in there actually contains an alcohol wipe that you use to wipe on the surfaces of anything that's going to mount using the adhesive backing. So for me, that included the GPS antenna, which I mounted to the plastic underneath and to the side of the rear seat, as well as the rear camera, which went underneath the luggage tray, and the front camera, which for now is just stuck to the front fairing here. Yeah, I know, it's ugly. I don't like it. It's not going to stay there. But for a temporary setup, that's the best I could come up with right now. I really don't have many options. I would love to tuck it underneath somewhere, hidden out of the way. But then I got to make sure that I have room for the the forks to turn and not knock into anything, as well as the suspension and defender to come up and down. For the rear radar sensor, what I did for that is I took a piece of scrap 1/4-inch thick ABS plastic that I had and made it to fit and mount to the back of the license plate bracket. And I have the adhesive backing plus two screws going into it, holding it to the plastic to keep that secure. All right, let's check out, see how this works. Power up the bike. All right, and it's alive. So, okay, language settings, we're going to speak English. And time zone. Okay. All right, we got a cool little, cool sporty looking little dash here. Mobile screen. Okay, so I got to connect to the Bluetooth first here, so let's do that. All right, so it looks like we are connected. I have my apps here. I'm guessing it's going to play audio through my Cardo because my phone is joined to the Cardo. So let me confirm that here. Go ahead and pull up title. Let's turn the
phone connected.
We'll do something a little classic here. Yeah, I got the music playing through the helmet. I can hear that. Sorry, I can't share it with you guys. Otherwise, I'd have to pay royalties. Okay, so I hit the button on the bottom button on the controller. That's my rear camera. Okay, there's the front camera, so you can see the rest of the messy garage there. We look a little crooked. Probably just the way I have that camera like angled. Please format the SD card. Okay, well, how do I do that? Recorder. And settings. Ah, here's my format SD card. Yes. Format my SD card. Sentinel mode. All right. So if the vehicle detects that it's bumped or anything or moved, it'll start recording while the bike is parked and everything turned off. Post-recording settings. Okay. For the rear, if I need to flip the image. Well, let's see. Do I? I can't tell. I can't tell if my garage door is upside down or not looking at that shot. I'll have to check out once I open the door and get the bike outside. I think I just started recording. I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't read the instructions. I'm just hitting buttons here. So the screen's a little smaller than what I'm used to. I had a larger 7-inch screen, but this isn't bad. I would probably bring it down closer. It doesn't need to be up as high as I have it right now. But we'll see once I get on the road and start using the maps and the navigation what I think about screen size. All right, before we take it out on the road, I'm just going to do my standard torture test. First is the water spray. And I got a lot of heat in my last video that I did this saying, that's totally unrealistic, you know, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, maybe it is, but, you know, that was pretty good. Took a couple of direct hits there, and it's not giving me any ghost touches. And everything seems to, you know, it's still recognizing my own touches there. Now, I do have the film on here yet, which might be helping protect it from that. Let's take that off and see. All right, so the protective film off. All right, we're still holding up pretty good. Let's check out touchscreen sensitivity with my warm and safe. They do advertise that they are touch sensitive. This is a big bulky heated glove, and so trying to touch these little spots here on the screen, but you know, if I'm careful with where I'm tapping, it's registering. Nice. Next is my Lee Parks Designs Sumo glove. They are advertised and designed to be touchscreen sensitive, but I find that these ones are a little touchy, pardon the pun, non-touchy, if as it were. Sometimes they give me an issue. Let's see here. See? Yeah. They're really kind of sensitive as to whether it registers the touch or not. You kind of have to really like make sure that you get it with the pad of the finger. Just doing it with the fingertip doesn't really work. And my climb induction. These are also touch sensitive gloves. Go here, and if I touch this little orb in the corner, it brings up this menu. And from there I can adjust the brightness to auto. We'll see how that works. That was a common complaint now of my CarPlay ride, was the brightness controls on that. I think what's next is to take this out for a ride and see how it does. So first impressions is the screen is a bit smaller than I'm used to. And as you can see, the radar warnings work by putting the little red flashes on the side of the screen. I have it set that it also beeps
You can turn the beeps off, but right now I have it beeping just so that we can test it out. And there it goes as that red car is pulling up beside me. And it was continuing to beep even as the car was past me. Now I got a car coming up from behind, as you see, and it was going off there. So it appears to just go off whenever something is approaching you from behind, either to the side or directly behind. We're going to go ahead and nobody's behind me. Not sure why it's going off there, but we're going to go ahead and get on the interstate here for a little bit, see how it does there. So it does tend to go off way early. I mean, I easily see the vehicles in the mirror when the radar sensor is going off. I guess that's better than going off too late. Now it's based on them having, you know, a faster approach speed to me. So if I come over here and I pass vehicles, it's not going to go off. Now if I kind of maintain speed with a vehicle, with this little gray truck here, I'm maintaining speed, and let's see, right about there, looking ahead, he's in my blind spot, right? So if I wanted to merge over right now, I can't really trust what this is telling me. Now I've kind of gained ahead of him a little bit, but yeah, so this only goes and warns you if a vehicle's in your blind spot that is approaching you. If they're maintaining the same speed, or if you're overtaking them, it's not going to tell you anything. I think I'm fine with not having the warning as I'm overtaking, but if we're maintaining the same speed, especially if he's there for more than, you know, half a second or something, right, I think it should warn me. So just like any driver aid, you know, on any vehicle, I guess, you know, can be summed up as good technology to have as an extra layer, if you will, but still no replacement, right, for using your own eyes and looking to see for yourself. The little remote down here will let me cycle through different screens. Now, one thing here with the cameras, this is my front-facing camera, and it's not showing my speed. Not sure why that is. I would definitely want a camera system to be able to have my speed in case, you know, something happens and I'm using this as evidence that I was behaving myself and it wasn't my fault. But when we go to the little dashboard that's built in, that has my speed, has tire pressure, has front tire pressure. We're not picking up rear tire pressure right now. It was working earlier. The bike's built-in tire pressure sensors tell me that yes, we do indeed have tire pressure. But yeah, the compass is not working. Yet the speed is working. So I'm assuming that the GPS antenna is hooked up and working fine. Oh, I see. When we're in this little dashboard view, I'm not on my CarPlay. When I'm in this little dashboard view, it flips to the rear view camera when something is approaching. And I guess from here, so, you know, it's recording the whole time, but you can, you know, snap a picture. Well, I guess you can lock a particular recording. Like if something happens, you want to make sure that you save it. Because otherwise, once the SD card fills up, it just overwrites to keep on going. And I believe if it detects a big enough shock that it thinks you crashed, it's going to lock the recording for that as well, so that you have any evidence for that.
far as that tire pressure sensor goes, I wonder if it just started to work its way loose, because it does come with some lock nuts to secure them in place that I didn't bother using. And I did double check that it was seated tightly on the valve stem, and after that it was working fine. And as you'd expect, all CarPlay functionality worked just fine. Navigation, listening to music, voice texting, and phone calls all worked flawlessly. They have an app that you can download on your phone to look at the camera footage. You do have to create an account, which I kind of question why you need to do that, because it doesn't seem like it's doing any cloud storage stuff. It's just between the phone and the device. But anyway, so yeah, we can go and look at the videos on the device, and you'll see a whole slew of them, front camera videos, rear camera videos, all broken down by date and time when it was taken. Now, all the videos that are listed on this loop tab are ones that will will eventually get overwritten as the memory card fills up. The ones over here in this emergency are locked and will not get deleted until I manually go in and delete these. And the ones that are in here are ones from when I was moving the bike without the bike being on. So it automatically started recording that. You can see the lights on the bike flashing as I'm moving it, because I don't have my key fob with me. And when you view the videos on your phone, you do get audio. They are recording audio as well. And the overall picture quality there is pretty good. Now, I paused this here because there is one gripe, though, I want to point out. So recall when I said about the cameras, when you're looking at them on the display, they don't show your speed. It just shows 0. However, you can see here that it is capturing speed, but I can assure you that I was not doing 70 mile an hour on this little back 2-lane road, okay? I don't ride like that. But what I suspect is happening is this is giving me kilometers per hour, but because I have it set to US units, it's just slapping mile an hour behind it and not actually doing the math to convert it. Now, on the surface, you could say, well, minor inconvenience, I can look at that and do the math, and that's true. But one of the benefits of having camera recorders on your vehicle is having evidence, if you ever need it, if something happens. Let's say I am riding down the road doing 45 mile an hour on a 45 mile an hour 2-lane road, and somebody pulls out and cuts in front of me right at the last second, and let's say I have a collision with them, I hit them, and they try and say, well, it's my fault because I was flying down the road. They looked, they didn't see me, and, by the time they started pulling out, boom, there I was, came out of nowhere, smacked into them. It's my fault because I'm some, crazy motorcycle rider that was doing 90 mile an hour. And if I want to go and show the officer or the judge or insurance agents, whatever the case may be, that no, I wasn't doing 70, 80, 90 mile an hour, well, the camera's going to say otherwise, right? They're not just going to take my word that the math is wrong. Kind of defeats the purpose of that. You can download the videos so that you don't need to be staying connected to the device. If you need to keep them, you just click the little button up in the corner there, and then you can just select the ones that you want to download, hit the little download button, and it's easy as that. They'll be downloaded to your phone. Overall thoughts. I like how the screen held up to the water test. Did really well on that. Also like the auto brightness feature. That seemed to work really well with being easy to see the screen as I'm riding in the daytime, but it adjusted itself really well and was easy to see and not overly bright when riding at night. The camera quality was really good, very good detail in the daytime especially, and surprisingly good detail from the nighttime shots that I tested. I like that the unit doesn't need to be a middleman between your helmet comms and your phone. In my experience, when other devices try to get in the middle of your phone and helmet communicator, the quality isn't as good. And I really, really liked the quick release feature on this. That's really nifty for being able to take the screen off easily if you want to take it in somewhere with you, if you're leaving the bike out and you don't want someone to nab that screen and run off with it. Things that could be better. The screen size, my personal preference, the screen size is a little small for me. Maybe if you had it mounted on the handlebars where it's closer to you, but for where I have it, where typically a GPS unit would go, I would prefer it to be a little bit bigger. It's pretty much the same size as if I just had my phone mounted there. Another annoyance is the missing information on the screen. The fact that it has a compass, but it always reads north, and the fact that it shows an overlay for speed on the camera views, but doesn't do anything with them. And I already talked about the dash cam footage when you go to look at it on the phone or download it, that the speed units are wrong. But what really sets this unit apart from the competition right now is the blind spot monitoring, the radar. And it's kind of neat and can help you get a better sense of what's going on all around you. But in my opinion, it feels a little gimmicky in that it's something like, the first time I saw it working and I'm riding, with the bike with this on, I'm like, oh, wow, this is cool. This is neat. How this is working and showing me this. And then it's like, well, okay, but is it really going to help me as I ride? Because I'm always going to still turn, and trust my eyes over what this is seeing. I think I would prefer more, the way factory integrated ones are, where they put the indicators in the mirrors, because the idea there is that I'm looking in my mirror before I'm thinking about changing lanes. And if I see the warning in my mirror, I'm still going to turn and look. But if I see the warning there, right, it kind of just, mentally makes me think, hey, there might be somebody over there and, I really got to check and see. But having the warnings more in front of you as you're riding straight, I can just see where it's going to get to a point where you're riding in traffic and this thing's just flashing red all day long. But all in all, pretty neat technology for a first release as far as, Aoocci goes. And, we'll see where this kind of technology goes. Whether we're talking bikes, cars, trucks, what have you, those aids, I think, are, a nice thing to have in addition to being a good, attentive rider or driver. And, I personally think that too many people are probably relying on the technology so that they can pay less attention to what's going on. And, that's not a good thing. But that's my take. I want to thank Aoocci for sending me this to test it out and give my thoughts. And I especially want to thank them for agreeing to let me have complete creative control over this review. They did not give me any stipulations on things that I had to cover, or if I had to slant, opinions one way or another. You are getting my unfiltered, unbiased review of this device. They sent me the device, and there's no other compensation going on for me doing this video. Now, if you would like to give this device a try on your bike, I do have a link in the description below where you can order one along with a discount code to save you a little bit of money on it. So as always, thanks so much for watching, and ride safe.